Another photographic moment, video tutorial on some photography tips I like to share, and this time I'm inside. And last few times, actually I think ever since I started doing these, I've been outside on location starting last spring all the way through summer and into fall. Now we're toward the end of the year, actually the last day or two of the year of 2009, and we're in the middle of winter and I'm doing some shooting indoors. But I'm still using natural light, and that's what I want to talk about today, is how we can use natural window light for portraits and still life. And I really love this type of lighting, especially this time of year, because the lighting's subdued to begin with. We end up with, especially in Ohio, these overcast days in the middle of the winter. When you get that coming through windows, it's a very pleasing, gentle light to work with portraits. 2 days ago, I had a portrait session with a father and a daughter. He is a writer and she teaches yoga, and together they conduct workshops and retreats out in Hocking Hills. They're also friends of mine. And also they're working on a book. Well, they wanted new images of them with the different things they do at these retreats to use on the website and in the book. So I was more than happy to bring them into my studio. But instead of going right downstairs in my studio where I have these strobe lights set up and doing the usual, the corporate type headshots that I do a lot of for some local businesses, I thought, I'm going to use a natural light up in this big room that I have available. Why not? I went to the Professional Photographers of Ohio Fall Conference back in Columbus, and they bring in a lot of very successful portrait and wedding photographers. And one of the photographers that spoke was Tamara Lackey. She has a website, tamaralackey.com, and check out her work. She's very well published, very well known, and when she showed her work, it just kind of blew me away because it was so nice. But it was her technique with the lighting is not overly complicated, it's not overly technical. She shoots in a home studio a lot, and she has all these big windows. She actually had it built that way to take advantage of the natural light coming through windows. And that's what her primary light source is for her portrait sessions. A lot of photographers in the audience were asking, well, don't you worry about your lighting ratios with your different strobes? And she says, no, I don't worry about it. And you know what? Her work speaks for itself. It's beautiful work. She gets the job done. She's very well known. She's successful. I like to go back to using natural lighting, and that's what I did with this recent portrait session. So I thought, since I had all that set up here, I'd do one of these tutorial videos and show you what, how I got this all set up and some of the little techniques that I important to provide a little bit of fill light. And when you have all the light coming in from this direction, the darker areas tend to get a little bit maybe too dark. Well, some photographers prefer that. I like to provide a little bit of fill light, or kind of a touch or a kiss of light on that darker area, so just a little bit of detail comes through so it doesn't get totally lost in the dark shadows. A few little tools I like to use, well, actually not so little, is this big reflector. I have a circular one as well. This is made for more like full body shots. But here I've got this natural window light coming through. It's hitting this nice reflector, and then I can angle it back up in the subject's face and just provide a little bit of fill light, maybe under the chin, on the side of the face as well. What's also nice about this room is I have a skylight directly above, so I got a little bit of touch of light coming on top of the head. So, providing a little bit extra light on the side, top of the head, separates a little bit more from the background. I also put one of my strobe lights up there with a diffuser to provide a little kiss of light up on top, providing a little highlights in the hair. So another tool to use is such as a camera flash. I like to use a 580EX because it has the feature where I can dial down the power output. I use a diffuser on the flash as well, and usually I just keep it up like this and have a little bit of light going out this way rather than strictly straight on. That wouldn't be a good touch of light. That'd be an overbearing use of light. So for that type, let's take this diffuser off, is this little light deflector, which can bounce your light a little bit. Any way you can just kind of soften that little fill light will help. Because you got to remember, you want to keep that beautiful window light as your primary window light source, not have these other supplemental light sources, become the primary, and then you just lose that pleasing effect of the window light. So, little things to keep in mind. The 85mm lens that Canon makes, it's a 1.8 aperture, very wide, fast, called a fast lens, lets me shoot longer in lower light situations, and the 85mm is great for headshots. Highlight tone priority I talked about. It improves the highlight detail, which means is the gradation between the grays and the highlights becomes smoother. So I'm reading out of the book, I'm cheating a little bit, sorry. But I like using a custom function for these type of portrait sessions where you got a lot of much more light coming on the subject against a dark background. That highlight tone priority is very good to use. You just want to remember to take that function. I like to remember to take that custom function off when I readjust myself and go back to doing nature and landscape work. It doesn't work well in that situation. It's actually made for portrait work. It's a very, very nice custom function. Setting a custom white balance is actually another thing you need to, excuse me, learn about, because a custom white balance setting is very important when you're in more stable light situations, such as doing indoor portrait work with available light or with strobe lights. It's actually very easy to do. There's this little device called an Expo Disc, and there's some other ones out there as well. Expodisc.com. Basically, take the camera, the lens, put it on manual, put the Expo Disc, aim it at the light source, make sure the exposure is about correct, and take one shot, and then in the camera go through and register that image as the white balance setting, and then you have an accurate white balance for all the images taken during the session. So the other things I want to mention too about when you're shooting in these type of situations, while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to post a lot of these images that I did on that session, and also some still life subjects I use in this type of lighting, because that's a great subject to work with in this type of window light as well at the end of this video. As the day gets older, especially this time of year, that light kind of goes away from the windows. So if you got you're doing a portrait session later in the afternoon, be aware that you may not be aware of the big difference between that and say late morning or early afternoon. But the camera meter will show you real quick. So that's the only thing with winter days like this. They go by pretty quick when doing this type of work inside. The other thing I want to mention real quick is I'm doing another workshop, full-day workshop, Introduction to Nature Photography. It's for photographers just getting involved with digital cameras and want to explore nature and landscape photography. It's going to be Saturday, January 30th, full-day workshop at Cox Arboretum here in Dayton, Ohio. I limit my workshops to 20 people, just to kind of maintain quality of instruction. I have 17 already registered, and I have a few seats still available. So if you'd like to learn more about my workshop and maybe register to attend and you're in the Dayton area that time, go to my website, ohiophoto.org, and just click on the workshops section, and it'll provide a full description and ways to register. So I want to mention that. And with that, I'm going to get back to shooting more in this beautiful light situation I've got going on here through these nice windows. And I'll talk to everybody later at the next photographic moment. Thank you.